Bring a flamethrower. Just start shooting fucking flames into the sky. For no reason.
I guess that's what he wanted to do.
Shut up, Canaanite. God.
Hey, everybody. Gino's talking about flamethrowers, and we're going to talk about wrestling.
Are we live?
Yeah, we've been live for like a minute.
We're minutes late because Sean, ladies and gentlemen, Sean gave Canaanite. We're joined by Canaanite. Say hi, Canaanite.
Hi, Canaanite.
All right, that's all you're allowed to say. Canaanite jumped into the pre-show, and we've talked about how it's award-winning. He got a look at Sean's peen.
You know,
Sean,
I have to say,
Peen
Yes.
happens. Hashtag.
packing a lot more than Alberto Del Rio is, I gotta say.
Sean was late as shit trying to get a bunch of work done, trying to get stuff situated. He walked in, and the camera was just bam! Right there, Peen Watch. Hashtag it, Peen Watch. Shout out to Celia Bloom. Shout out to DEO, or whatever the fuck he changed it to today. Peen Watch is underway already. By the way, Alberto Del Rio. We're just going to call him Alberto Del Pino. Because his dick is always at attention. What's up, everybody? There are two of you, and neither of you decided to answer.
I thought I would be nice and let the guest speak first. But,
What's up, Kane?
Oh, I'm doing okay. How are you guys doing?
Can you explain the origins of your name? That's an interesting story. Sean, how are you?
I'm good, man. How are you? I was trying to think of a cock knocker joke to make there, and I couldn't. And
You seem tired, Sean.
I am. I got stuff going on, but life goes on.
It just looks like you were preoccupied with your peen right there. You're kind of looking down at
I
it.
am. I'm
You
still
look-
trying to check out what's going on with my peen.
You're in deep into Sean Peen territory right now. You're just looking down, servicing the peen.
Mm-hmm. It requires a lot of attention. My peen does.
This is our Wrestlemania edition. Theoretically, we would get more viewers for this.
Do people really want more WrestleMania at this point?
No.
Do people really, first of all, I'd like to, not to go somber on it, but there's someone in the threads. I don't know, I can't remember the username, and I don't bring it up because of internet stuff, but he said he might have to put his cat down today. And he said the cat was a big Gino fan.
Well,
I don't know how that is, but shout out to you, dude. I'm sorry that's going on. I hope that's not the case, and you don't have to put your cat down. I know how hard that is. I've had to do that before. It's awful, and you know how much we love cats here at CageSideSeats.com. So shout out to you, dude. Sorry, I don't remember your name. Now.
I don't think my cats are that big of Gino fans. I don't know. I'll do a poll later on and see.
They're definitely not.
I don't think so. Maybe a couple of them.
My cat's a big Gino fan.
Well, that's the important thing.
Well, let's talk about this show. Where do we want to start?
I don't think my cats like the show either, so I don't know. I got nothing.
There was a million things that happened on a show that, by the end, I felt like was like 4 different shows crammed into one. And they all sucked.
They didn't all suck. I mean, it wasn't a good show, but I don't think it was quite as bad as I'm hearing a lot of people say.
Why?
I think, basically, I wasn't as down on the Jericho match as a lot of people were. I wasn't as down on the Ambrose match. There's just a few matches where I've seen people give out, like, that match is a 2-star match and all this stuff, and I'm just like, maybe it was a 3-star match. I don't know. So,
you know what I love about the star rating system? Well, first, it's dumb as hell, first of all. Secondly, because it's like, I give that 3 1/4 star.
Right.
3.2698 stars. Like, that's just dumb. None of it makes sense. But, so you're not down on... Here's what it was. No one's favorite wrestler won.
Right.
All our faves lost.
Somebody's favorite wrestler won.
Well, somebody, but like the majority opinion, it feels like, they didn't get what they wanted.
Right. Look at the first 3 matches on the card. I think all the heels well, Zack Ryder's not a heel, but I think most hardcore wrestling fans or even casual probably weren't rooting for Zack Ryder. I don't know, were they? And then you go to.
You mean the main card, not the pre-show?
Oh, sorry. Right. Yeah. So I'm talking about the main card. So then you got Jericho, Cool Dad there, getting a win that has no really rationale to it. And then you have the New Day losing. So right off the bat, it's like, what the hell's going on here?
Where do we start, Sean? Because there was so much. Like,
I mean, do you just want to go chronologically? Because I don't know how else to tackle it, honestly.
I mean, should we go from chronologically but backwards to the most important stuff first?
No, because then we're never going to talk about the other stuff. I mean, we just.
Well, I don't know that there's much to say about the other stuff, like Kalisto.
I thought that was a good match. That was probably my third favorite match on the card on the show, honestly. So,
yeah.
I mean, the two. My two favorite matches were, I think, a lot of people's two favorite matches was the women's triple threat and the Intercontinental Ladder match, and then after that, my next two favorite matches were probably the first two matches on the pre-show.
Yeah.
So that's
No, not for me anyway. Ryback, Kalisto. I'm hearing people. I'll go back to these star ratings. I'm hearing
Who
people
are these
saying,
people? You keep saying them. I'm hearing people say, "Are you on the ground taking photos?"
He's like Corey Graves on the pre-show. He's out in the audience getting.
That's right. Yeah. I'm surveying the WWE universe in my spare time, and what they say is, it was a 3.5-star match or whatever, and I'm just like, that was not one of the 4 best matches on the show, like what you guys are saying. I'll give you right now. Let's see. We got. In no particular order, the women's championship match was better. The IC ladder match was better. Ambrose's match was better, and I guess you're not going to agree with that. And Jericho's match was better, and I think New Day's match was a little better. Not that it was that good, but to me, Ryback Kalisto. Let me start shitting on that match because that's really my point. Is it was just the most basic, nothing. It was a dark match for any local indie show you might go to. That's all it was. It was nothing with an occasional Ryback saying, "I'm a big guy, you're a little guy," and that's basically all it was. Like,
which is awesome.
It didn't strike me as like 3rd, 4th best match of the night, unless you're just so down, on the rest of the matches. But to me, Ambrose Lesnar, as underwhelming as that was much better than Ryback Kalisto. I don't know.
To me, I think it's a question of expectations too, which is you're right. I mean, I'm not gonna say that Kalisto and Ryback put on some sort of a spectacular exhibition of sports entertainment, but it was. For what I went into it expecting it, I enjoyed it. What I went into Dean Ambrose and Brock Lesnar expecting was, I mean, because I feel like that was pretty much, that was a Raw main event, right? I mean, it was a fine match. I liked it, but it wasn't the payoff to the story we've been getting. It wasn't a WrestleMania.
It's pretty disappointing how Dean Ambrose, he's like, what, the 2nd or 3rd top babyface in the company, if you will, outside I'm not counting John Cena yet because I don't know if he's back full time or what his deal is, but basically Dean Ambrose is the 2nd or 3rd top guy they have on the babyface side, and he gets treated like he can't compete with Brock Lesnar. And like, I understand Brock Lesnar is the beast and all this stuff, but I'm kind of over the whole Brock Lesnar squash match stuff. It worked great with Cena a couple years ago, but I highly prefer the type of matches here with CM Punk. I want the back and forth type match, the super competitive, where you can still have the guys a clear cut underdog, but make it really intense, dramatic match, even with that in there. And to me, Ambrose, it was just Lesnar's toying with him the whole effing time.
You just said it was a great match.
I didn't say it was a great match. I said it was better than Ryback Kalisto.
Yeah, he did. In fairness, yes. I mean, and my problem with this, a lot of my thoughts, I guess there is no good way to break down the show because a lot of my criticisms, I guess, are intertwined. And with this one, I think the main problem with this match, and I'm mind reading, I don't know this for sure, but it seems to me like they didn't want to have 2 of the exact same match on the card, so Shane got to have the match that this should have been. Because you don't want to have 2 matches where one guy refuses to die and has to do increasingly crazy stuff. So the McMahon got that spot, and Dean got to, pretty much get squashed, but have a kendo stick.
I felt like Dean was too much of the goofy lunatic Dean in this one, rather than the more serious, like yours, the edgier lunatic Dean, and that did hurt it.
Yeah.
The problem to me was you had a build that was centered on they played emotion. They played the psychological game of, essentially, let's get into Dean's head, and Dean is just crazy enough to take a match like this, and then maybe he's just crazy enough to do the things that are crazy enough to win a match like this. And because we support him so much, we should go along for that ride. And then they got to the match, and maybe you're right, Sean. They knew they were going to go into. It wouldn't be that long until they had to do basically the exact same thing with Undertaker and Shane, only with someone who's far more important in their eyes because his last name is McMahon. And they just stripped it of any of that emotion. Like, there was literally nothing that was driving any of the decisions. It was just Brock's throwing a guy around, that guy's occasionally breaking out a weapon, and he's still getting thrown around, only now he's also holding the weapon.
It was a slightly more interesting match than what you get on a Brock Lesnar Network special squash. I mean, is not what you should get at WrestleMania. And one other thing that I think hurt the match, at least for me, is that, and I don't really know what practical way you can follow up on this, but they did the whole tease during the build-up. You have a chainsaw, you have a barbed wire baseball bat. Ambrose pulls out both those weapons, and he's completely useless at using them.
I think he got his lip stuck on the barbed wire.
Right, he was like making out it or something. Yeah. You're right, very weird.
I think you also hit one of my problems when you were talking about it before too. Is I think they're stuck. They had this problem with Brock before they decided to do the Punk thing and then put him into the, they had this problem with Brock until he beat Taker.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, Brock had some direction and they went towards the title. And now that they've decided to take him out of the title picture, they have no idea what to do with him. He's nothing but a special attraction, which is great. I do like to watch him throw dudes around. But you're right, there's diminishing returns at some point. When there's no story behind it, it's not as much fun as it is when there is a story behind it.
There's only 4 guys on the roster, I think, maybe 5, who they're willing to let have a competitive match with Brock Lesnar. It seems like you got your Triple H, your John Cena, your Undertaker, and I'm sure
Roman.
Roman. Yeah, that's the 4th guy. Right. Rollins didn't even have a competitive match with him last summer. So, and Ambrose, I know Ambrose got some offense and get some tease of a pinfall here, but really it was basically a squash. So, I think that's a problem where you're not portraying your guys as being good enough to take this guy out. They're going to have to keep falling back on what they're going to do, Brock Lesnar Kane for his next feud or something, because they don't trust anyone else to be competitive with Brock Lesnar. I don't know.
Kane's got a feud with Shaq. Or no, that's Big Show.
That's a Big Show.
But Big Show will probably get injured, and then Kane will take his spot.
True.
They could have done. They didn't even do the Dean fought valiantly and then died anyway. They just didn't do anything. It was literally just like Brock had a dude that he was fighting this is like Lesnar versus Heath Herring from like UFC 87. Like, it was like, he's probably going to steamroll this dude and maybe it'll be fun along the way, but like maybe, Herring can throw a punch. It wasn't even that entertaining. We didn't even really get that out of it. And it was really way too short because of where it was placed in the show and how much they knew they had to get to, because we definitely had to sit through 38 minutes of The Rock shooting flames into this guy for no reason. And it's at the end of it, there was no emotion attached to it. Dean looks significantly worse coming out of it. He looks, like I said, he didn't use any of the weapons he had available to him. I'm hoping he tries to explain that his big plan actually was to burn Lesnar alive and his flamethrower was stolen by a dickhead movie star who just wants what he wants and gets everything he wants. And yeah, he just got beat and pinned, and it's the same shit. It's the same shit. This was the Bengals making the Super Bowl and losing anyway.
And getting blown out.
Yeah, 37-0. Yeah.
Or whatever Joe Montana.
His only offense was the Undertaker revealed, chink in Lesnar's armor, the old, nut shot. That was the only time he got anything.
Right.
And even every time he got the chain, like Kane was saying, like they set up the chainsaw in the bat spot. I mean, those were all immediately met with suplexes. So that was like a running gag.
The other thing is like it's clear how they feel about him versus how we, I guess, or how I look at him and think, well, I want him to be a certain thing. Because I think he has the potential to be that thing, which is, again, I think it's so unfair to label anyone, and not to get too deep into this, but to label someone crazy is like a super unfair thing to do because it's such a dismissive thing. Like, your feelings don't matter, your thoughts and opinions don't matter because you're just fucked up in your head. People can be fucked up in the head, but essentially, like we've talked about it, it's response to trauma. The dude's been fucked over his whole career. His brothers have turned on him, Triple H, the authorities fucked him up. So it's like, it's far more compelling to me that he is this wacky, weird way that he is because his career essentially has. I mean, CZW. He's been like taking chainsaws to the head. You know what I mean? Like there's actual trauma there that creates a compelling emotional attachment. And they don't play on that at all. I don't think they think that at all. I think they think it's just cute to have him making out with a barbed wire baseball bat, and we'll all like GIF that, and we'll put it on our website, and everyone will go, "That Ambrose, he's such a wild card," and then we'll move on.
100%.
Like, I think they think he can always be that, and we're always going to accept that, and then it's just okay. And it's really not.
Absolutely right. I agree completely with what you're saying.
Well, I think that, but the problem is that we do that though, right? And we do it. There's another guy
True.
with Bray Wyatt, we do it too. I mean, not to the same extent, because Bray has been beaten down much more considerably than Dean has. At least Dean's had title shots. But you know, we get the hint. You know, we still do the entrance for Bray. His merchandise still obviously sells. We get the little tease that he might be relevant, and we freak out. So they've got that in their back pocket for whenever if they decide they need to use it, and they don't think they need to use it. So they're going to keep giving us what they give us.
I did the post about Bray saying he wants to reset his character. Massive traffic.
Yep.
And everyone's like, "Oh, sweet, he feels like we do," or whatever. Should we just talk about that one, because people got upset at us. I guess you and I are known as some people's wrestling dads, and they don't like when we fight. And we fought on the last show, and then you misrepresented my opinion on Twitter.
I did not. I went back and watched it, and I can play it back for you, but that's okay.
Sean, God. Well, let's get through the thing that we might fight about here.
Okay.
I'm
not going to fight about it. I mean, you hate The Rock.
Right.
And I know you don't really hate Dwayne Johnson. You hate that character.
Sure.
And so everything about him is the worst thing to you.
Can you just like...
I don't, so that's... I mean, I don't know what there is to fight about. I'm not going to convince you should like him. I will readily admit the shtick is old.
I want you to. Let me say that. I want you to convince me that this isn't the stupidest shit in the world, because I want to enjoy it. I don't want to sit here...
I don't think you're ever going to enjoy it, but a lot of people do. I mean, the crowd did. I mean, I don't think...
Serious question. A lot of people actually enjoyed this man walking out, like pointing to his arm. We know you have goosebumps, Rock. We get it. I don't need you to like treat me like a 2-year-old. And then he just... Good fucking God, dude. It's already like 11:30 on the East Coast at this point. And he's just standing there for an hour. And then he's like, "Wait, guys, I've got a surprise." And I'm like, "Ooh, maybe he's going to bring out fucking, like, because I'm a mark idiot, like Conor McGregor's going to show up. He's going to go get some fun, interesting, cool thing." And all he did was grab what I thought was a T-shirt cannon.
That's what I thought at first, too.
So I'm like, hey, cool, maybe he's going to shoot some T-shirts and, like, the live crowd can have fun with some shit. And he just, like, holds it and some flames shoot out of it a little bit, and this takes another hour.
It did not take...
Who's entertained by this? And then he goes over to a bit, and it says Rock. Oh, boy! How exciting! It says his name. And then he's like, he looks at the camera and he holds his finger, and he's like, "Oh, wait, guys, it gets even better." And then he lights his name on fire. Oh, man. What a super entertaining segment this is. The Rock's name is burning on television. So cool. Then he's like, "All right, let's go to the ring now." Canaanite, I fully expect you to do your WrestleMania match times post and include this in it, and I want to know exactly how long this took.
Gino, I got a number for you right now.
Give it to me.
So from the point where his entrance music started to signify he's coming out, to the point where he finally spoke a word into the microphone for everyone to hear, what does he say, finally or whatever?
Yes.
That took 6 minutes, 10 seconds.
6 minutes and 10 seconds.
It took him that long to say a fucking word into the microphone from
Just
the point where his
the
music
first
started.
word.
So not
Sean,
quite an
defend
hour then?
Right, not an hour.
I thought it was fun. I mean, if you don't like The Rock setting shit on fire while cheerleaders watch it, I don't think you're American.
Oh,
and
my God.
It's fun. I don't know. It took 6 minutes. If this was Stone Cold pissing beer on something, you would have marked the fuck out. You just don't like The Rock. It's fine. I was not super jazzed about Stone Cold. I am not. I got over seeing him stunner everybody in 2001. But I don't cry when he comes on to do it.
How is it cooler to you to watch someone stand there and point to their arms and then like grab
Why
a
are you
crayon?
so hung up on the goosebump thing? The wrestling gestures do that. People do that all the time. You got a big crowd. You're trying to let people know something. It took 2 seconds, and you're hung up on that.
Yeah, well,
If you don't if you don't like people setting shit on fire, I don't know what to tell you. I do.
What was the point? What was the point?
It's WrestleMania. What's the point of any of it? It's a big fucking spectacle. That's the biggest movie star in the world. He came out and he set some shit on fire and he winked at some chicks. What?
He is not the biggest movie star in the world.
Well, you know what I think is interesting?
Who is that?
Dave Bautista.
All right.
You just got to deal with
He's
that.
going to play Blade Runner 2 today, I found out.
I know, yep.
But look, you guys had some, in Ortman's rumors recently, he said, oh, The Rock's going to be able to do whatever the hell he wants at WrestleMania, basically. And you know what The Rock wants to do? Come out with cheerleaders and shoot flames. I mean, so if I was in The Rock's position, I can kind of see, I guess, why he'd want to do that.
I mean, this is the thing, too, though. I mean, when the Stone Cold stuff was going on and people were shitting on it, you were like, well, why can't you just go with it and have fun? What did you think they were going to do? And it's the same thing with The Rock. Did you think Rock was going to do anything other than jerk himself off for 20 minutes and then
That's my point, though. That's what I mean.
Well, why? So why are you upset? Why do you get so fucking upset when you knew it was going to happen?
Because what's the difference between... To me, there's a big difference, I guess, between Austin coming out and hitting a stunner. And Austin, he's not taking an hour and a half to get to the ring. He's not on a show that had already gone 5 hours to that point. And I'm hearing that fucking guitar solo for the 88th time because it's on a 1-minute loop and I'm just done with it. That's what I mean. It's to the point where you feel like, dude, just get the fuck on with it. We get it. You're The Rock. You are so massively in love with yourself, it's sickening. You love that everyone loves you, and you're gonna come out and be who you are. Like, great. That's fun for you, and it's fun for Rock fans, fine. But maybe, think about the people who aren't fans of yours and their viewing experience, because there are plenty of those people. And how fun is it for them to watch a dude just, like, light a name on fire, spend an hour, get to the ring, and then do the same fucking promo we've always heard from this dude? Finally, The Rock has come back to a city that he's not even in. Start with me, Sean.
You just hate. I'm not going to have this argument because there's nothing. You hate him, and I'm not going to argue with you about that. I mean, people do find it entertaining. You don't. But if this was anything else, you could make these arguments about anything on the show that you didn't like. You could just say, this is all pointless. I hate it. You shouldn't do it. But people like it. It makes money, so they're going to do it. So, I mean, my advice to you is to calm the fuck down and get over it because it's not going away. He's going to come back every 6 months and do this, and you're going to have a fucking coronary over it, and nothing's going to change.
I think you're overestimating how upset I am about it.
Well, how much have we talked about it now?
A little too much.
Yeah, I mean, you were sort of obsessed about it.
Who's obsessed?
All right.
Certainly not this guy.
I mean, this was not a big part. I mean, he didn't decide to go. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he did decide to go on last, but that's the nature. I mean, that's the.
Well, I heard he wanted to work with the Wyatt family.
I mean, and I think one thing that gets lost in this is, if you want to, there are the seeds of a Wyatt family face turn in this segment.
Yes.
And he put them over huge. He talked about his undeniable charisma and the connection he makes with the fans. That's in there, but you're hung up on 6 minutes with the flamethrower, so we can't even talk about that.
Well, I think it's worth talking about the fact that he did verbally put him over, and then he beat Eric Rowan in 6 seconds with one move.
Okay.
Quick kick. There wasn't even any semblance of a kick out. The guy was just take him and throw him in a fucking swamp. Because it's
right, and that's a guy that's a vinter and there's no future in him, as opposed to Stone Cold, who just took one of the tag champs and did the same thing, and you marked out. So I don't see what the problem. At least he didn't do that to Bray. I mean, he didn't beat Bray in 6 seconds. At least Rock is an active competitor. Stone Cold sits around and talks about how he drinks beer all the time, and he came in and took care of 7 dudes that are in the tag title picture. And I'm not saying I have a problem with that, but it's weird to me that you're upset about Eric Rowan and not that.
Okay, so I'm not upset about that. You're making a fair point. I'm gonna say that right now. That's not unfair to say that there's a disconnect there. I totally agree, and I think that is actually it's a good commentary on the differences between being a fan and not being a fan. And like I said, I just think you need to be cognizant of that when you're delivering this kind of stuff. And I don't know. I just think I think what it really comes down to is I would much rather Austin come out and bury the entire stadium with stunners. You know what I mean? And it's certainly what it is. It makes New Day look like shit. It made League of Nations look like shit. It made everybody look like shit. But it was just I could get lost in it and go, well, this is just cool, dumb fun, whatever. And they were having fun with it and great. As opposed to The Rock, where it's like it just feels way too much to me like it's a guy who walks out and just jerks his dick off. Like it's hey everybody, love me.
I still think that comes down to the fact that you don't like that and you do like the other thing, and that's why it's no point. I don't see what the point.
I don't like to watch a dude masturbate himself.
Here's my take on this. The Rock, I was a big fan of The Rock back in the day, when I was at that certain age, and his catchphrases, were awesome and all that. And I'm a little older now, I'm not so into him. However, I definitely agree with Gino on the whole, I don't need to watch 6 minutes of this guy showing me his fucking goosebumps. But once he got talking, I enjoyed his segment with the Wyatts. I thought they had a good exchange back and forth. I was enjoying it. And then once they went into the whole match thing, and it went downhill fast for me. But I can get into the Rock shtick. It's just I don't need those first 6 minutes. Is that part of it? I mean, I know of the last few years since Rock came back in 2011, that's part of his shtick. But to me, it is over the top. I don't think it's necessary. But if that's what you have to deal with when The Rock comes back, I guess that's what you have to deal with. But I do agree that's unnecessary to be standing out there for 6 fucking minutes, basically.
Yeah, I think you're right, too. There's good to be had.
Yeah.
The Rock is not an awful performer. He's actually an all-time performer. He's very fucking good at this when he wants to be and when he gets serious. When he's like, he had the program with Cena and, he's doing the jokes and the whatever and being the teenage, whatever. Like, I get that. That's part of the a lot of people love that. But then when he turns serious and he takes it seriously and it's like, this is a big deal, this is something that matters and we're going to make sure it gets over, he's awesome. Very few are on that level. And I think part of my problem at least is just we don't see that. That's the smallest portion of him that he shows. Everything else is just the part where he jerks himself off and then he tells the stupid jokes and then it's just, he beats the guy in 6 seconds and it all just feels like, wow, we could have. The good that's in there is just totally washed off by all the shit that's surrounded it. And if you're not into him, then you can't ignore that because it just, you know what I mean? And time is relative, 6 minutes feels like 6 hours when you're not having a good time. So it's like, whatever. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. And plus, also the segment was bad because John Cena came back in the least interesting way possible. I felt like, I mean, I was really looking forward to his return. I thought there'd be some big cool thing, and Roman Reigns is calling him out today, so it's like maybe they're going to go right into that program, and I'm actually incredibly interested in what that looks like. But I just felt like, why? What was the point? I guess was it just to have him on the show?
I think so.
I think advertising him for however long they've been doing it, 4 months, sells network subscription, it sells tickets. Obviously not to some people. But to some people it does, and that's the value of it, and that's
to bring Cena back here though.
I don't know what I'll tell you what I think the Cena thing is all about is that they are as WWE is wont to do. They are very invested in retrofitting history to make that rivalry one of the greatest in WrestleMania history. So to them, the rivals come together is a big moment.
Yeah, that's the other thing about Mania is they expect you to look at it outside of how you would normally look at their other shows. It's not the same thing as just a regular show because it is very how do I want to say this? It's a very contained event. This is Mania, so we have to have the stuff I think they believe it was totally okay for Austin and HBK and Mick Foley to come out and lay waste to League of Nations and then lay waste to New Day because, it's WrestleMania. You have the big moment and you do essentially while I was watching it, I was having fun. For the most part, this is fun. Austin's doing the stunners. That's great. Hey, we got to see HBK in his gear again. Oh, cool. Mick Foley showed up. Wow, this is cool. People who were there live got to hear the entrances, do the pops. All that was fine. League of Nations are a bunch of geeks, and New Day are cool. They're heels, and they're good on the mic. They can recover from this, whatever, all that. You can do all that stuff. But it's just so self-contained in that, tonight on Raw, we're going to forget about that immediately, and New Day's gonna, all Dallas, and everyone's gonna go fucking wild. So how much did this really matter? How much was this really negative towards them? And we could say the same thing about the Wyatt family. I'm not going to act like it's just, so Austin can do it and it buries them. Certainly, the Wyatt family's probably in the same position today they were in yesterday. But it's also kind of a weird thing, too, for us. Like I said on Twitter, I'm not an executive at WWE. It's not my job to worry about who is, like, getting over to a certain level of a push that they're being given. Or, like, you know what I mean? That's kind of a strange way to look at it in a lot of ways as a fan. It's just, are you having a good time?
Well,
And
when you're
have a good time, and that's what I think they were trying to do with that.
when you're keeping track of, say, the Chicago Bears and their moves, you're not an executive of the Chicago Bears. Do you only care about how? Do you not care about how their decisions?
I think it's different. I think it's different in the sense of, like, I care about what I believe affects the Bears' ability to win games because I want to watch the Bears win.
Do you want to watch them win games in 2020 as well as 2017?
Yes.
16?
I mean, yeah. I mean,
No,
for me,
I don't care about. I don't think of that. I don't think like that.
Okay, well,
I want them to win tomorrow. I want them to win every game this season.
I think that's one, of course, valid way to consume your entertainment or sports or wrestling, whatever categories you want to dump this shit in. I think it's also valid if New Day is really over. The Wyatts, I'm going to kind of brush to the side because to me the Wyatts have been dead for a long time. But the New Day is pretty popular. So if there are people, I enjoyed the Stone Cold stuff. I thought it was fun, like you said. For a lot of people who attended the show, because I surveyed them, of course, again, a decent amount of people said that that was their highlight of the show for them was seeing Stone Cold, and Shawn Michaels do their thing. So it was definitely fun. But I could definitely understand if there are people out there who want to see the New Day have their WrestleMania moment. They want to see the New Day look like stars because the New Day they like better than Mick Foley and Shawn Michaels. There are people out there who really love the New Day. So I'm not going to get on their case and say that they're get over it or whatever. I just think either way is valid.
I definitely agree with what you're saying with that, and I don't disagree with the people who are complaining about those things. I think they're valid complaints.
Yeah.
But yeah, as a fan of Austin, it was cool to see him do the stunner, and it felt like true to his character.
Yeah.
He's one of the few characters who somehow, probably because he tells Vince to go pound sand when he doesn't like what he's given.
Right.
But yeah, I was like, oh god, they're doing the
Oh,
Michael's
I was
dancing.
laughing my ass off when Xavier Woods was doing the dance and Austin started joining him. I was loving that. It was hilarious.
Yeah, it was like a good little seg.
It was perfect, yeah.
It was a good little seggy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then I was like, if he doesn't stunner everyone in the ring, I'm going to be pissed. As I said, I was like, I have super weird standards for my wrestling. And then Rock came out, and then it didn't matter at all.
And that's the thing though. It's the same Rock character. He's true to his character too. He jerks himself off. He did that as a heel. He did it as a face. You're not into it anymore. I mean, and I'm not gonna, like I said, I'm not going to try to convince you and say you're wrong. I get that criticism. It still works for me because I have a man crush on the dude or whatever. But I know it doesn't work for a lot of people. But I don't understand. He gets such, and I guess maybe that's the whole. It's like it's the Beyonce thing about you're a bad bitch when you cause all this conversation. It's the Roman thing. It's the Cena thing. People care. People want to hate him so much that moves the needle too. I mean, that's the point of conversation today: is whether this was the best thing or the worst thing, and you don't get that out of somebody else.
Yeah.
So
if the New Day League of Nations match was allowed to stand on its own, we wouldn't talk about it at all.
Nope.
Right? It was every match you've ever seen.
I mean, we might mention that it was weird that Sheamus won, but yeah.
Yeah, Sheamus went over. They changed it from a 4-on-3 handicap to just a 6-man tag. Del Rio's peen was in full effect. It was just a match. It was every match you've ever seen from those two, and we've seen, unfortunately, way too many of those matches.
Yep. And the WrestleMania moment was the entrance. Then and they're right. That's all anybody. We're talking a lot more about that, what happened before and after the match, than the match itself today. The match was irrelevant, largely.
Yeah. Yeah, and I feel like it's again too. That's I think how they book it. It's just let's make sure we have these big moments, and we'll not really worry about the other stuff, the rest of the stuff, or whatever. And that's a problem I think for long-term viability of what they do. Like each new year, it feels like what could they possibly do next year?
Yep, and that's what. And Roman and Charlotte said that on the Today Show this morning. That's the thing. It's like they're already thinking about how do we top this next year.
What could they do next year? Bring in Shane McMahon. Okay, what do you do? That was this year's answer. What do you do next year?
Oh yeah, they're gonna put one of his kids on TV and have one of his kids jumping from the cell.
Declan Rogaine and Smirnoff.
Here's one more thought on this issue here, and I've heard this once again from these random people I talk to. Do you think WWE's intent when they do these segments with the Wyatts and the New Day is that they're getting the rub because they're just in the same ring with them?
Yes,
Do you buy that?
I do buy it. I think that WWE thinks
I think
that.
they think that.
I don't know if it works.
I think it's
To me, it's
horseshit.
obvious that it's horseshit. Yeah, but do you think that's what they think?
I think sometimes it does help a little bit. I mean, I think there is a type
Maybe.
of fan
Right.
who thinks, oh, yeah. I mean, but I don't think it works with. It certainly doesn't work with us, with our type of fan.
Right.
So, but I definitely think Vince believes that. And
I think
and
there's
his cronies.
if you compare it to sport. Okay, so like I think there's a certain level of like if you brought up the Bears. I'm a fan of the Bears. Let's say they play who was good? Like Carolina. Let's say they play Carolina this year. I don't think they're on the schedule, but let's say they did. The team that represented the NFC in the Super Bowl, and the Bears went toe to toe with them, and they lost with the last second field goal, but they went toe to toe with them. I feel as though they can compete if we see them again in the playoffs. So
Yep.
I'm more excited about the Bears now.
Right.
This is more like MMA, where it's like you can have a match where you go 2 rounds and you kind of Conor McGregor, Nate Diaz. You can kick the shit out of Diaz for the first round and then get tapped in the second, and you know what everyone remembers? You got tapped. You got beat. You lost. That's all that matters. To me, it's Eric Rowan doesn't look any better for having been beaten in 6 seconds by The Rock. Bray Wyatt doesn't look better for having been in the ring. And Rock put him over. Rock's like, you're great, wonderful, grand, and all these other things. I don't even remember what he said. I don't remember anything he said. I remember that he beat Eric Rowan in 6 seconds.
I think
I
he
remember that he
said,
shot a flamethrower. Those are the things I remember.
You have ability and you have charisma. I think that's what he said.
He said you've got all the tools. I mean, I remember, but I mean, yeah, everybody's.
If that's true, Rock, why don't you have a match with him and let him pin you?
Right.
How about that, you fucking egomaniac? Like, if the whole idea is to be like, you're so wonderful and great, and then I'm gonna beat you, that you don't do it.
He wasn't putting over Eric Rowan.
All you do is That's my point, though. Why couldn't you lay down for Bray?
Look,
Why couldn't you do the job? There's no reason you couldn't do the job.
Because he's not going to come on a show that is going to have 2 million people watch it when he's trying to sell movies as an action star and job out to some jabroni.
But there's the thing,
Austin wouldn't allow it either. It's,
right.
I mean,
you can't lose to Bray Wyatt in his.
No, Austin did. Austin actually sold for Rusev when he was in the ring.
He did. That was interesting.
The only one of the 3 who sold for someone.
Right.
Austin sold for Rusev in the corner. Just saying. Rock didn't sell a fucking second when he was out there.
But
so
again,
we want to continue the Austin Rock rivalry in 26.
I mean, I don't want to continue it because it's painfully obvious that there.
Well, you know what's interesting? The Rock is the much bigger star than Stone Cold. Back in Stone Cold's day, no one was a bigger star than Stone Cold. The Rock comes in, he gets the segment to himself, and then with John Cena, like he gets the ring to himself. Stone Cold's just one of 3 old guys that came out, and of course he was the best old guy. But the Rock looked like a much bigger star than Stone Cold on this show.
Austin's the bigger wrestling star, but Rock's the bigger like mainstream guy. And of course, because he's the mainstream, they're going to be way more into what he can bring, which is totally that's what they should do.
Right.
That should be. But yeah, so whatever. Roman Reigns. Let's get to Roman Reigns. Let's argue about Roman Reigns.
I don't really have anything. I'm tired of arguing about Roman Reigns, first of all.
Right.
And second of all, I mean, by the time this match came up, I mean, I talk about something I don't remember. I mean, I was fucking spent. I didn't care. And that's, it is what it is. But it was at the end of 6 hours plus of watching and writing about wrestling, and I was just done.
Yeah, I didn't catch this match live. Later on, I saw what happens, and I saw the time of the match was 27 minutes, and I said, nope, not watching that one. So I just went back and watched like the final few minutes. So I actually I just assume it was a very boring, typical Triple H
match, yeah.
WrestleMania main event, which is like, so actually I don't have a lot to say about this one, but it's just I have no interest in watching them wrestle for 27 minutes. So.
Yeah, Triple H, all his big matches have to be epics.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
They got to be 3.5 hour.
Yeah.
War of
he shoots
attrition
for that, and it doesn't. It never works. It never comes off that well. With Taker, I guess maybe a little bit, but even those on a rewatch aren't as good as I remember. That like those are you get caught up in the moment of them. I don't know.
There are times when you can pull that off, but especially at the end of a show like this, I don't think it works out. They got the crowd. I think as far as by the end of it, what they were doing, but they were fucking with the audio. And it's, again, like I wrote about in the recap, I'm tired of the tug of war. It just feels so much like a tug of war between Vince and myself as a fan, and you as a fan, and Canaanite as a fan, and everybody as a fan, of, I want you to cheer him. And me, I don't want to. You can't force me. I don't want you to try. And they're trying anyway, and they won't give up. Like, he won't give up. He is in a war of attrition with me over the reaction I give to the guy that he thinks I should give a certain reaction to. And it's just, I feel fatigued. I feel over it. Like, I just don't want to be a part of this anymore. Like, I really, again, I think we've said this, Sean, multiple times. How many times have there been situations like this where we just walk away? Mm-hmm. This is our job, but if it wasn't, would you watch Raw tonight?
I mean, I would, and this is the thing with WrestleMania is I am completely on board and excited and fired up about some of the stuff they're doing. I mean, the shit that they did with Charlotte and Sasha and Becky and whatever else they're going to do with that tonight is awesome and wonderful, and I want to see where it goes. But there's a lot of it that I would tune out from. I would totally watch it on picture-in-picture while I was watching the basketball game and only flip over for certain things if I didn't have this job.
Who's Roman Reigns going to headline the next pay-per-view with? Jericho?
I mean, that's the thing about the rage jumping around a little bit. The thing about the rage about Jericho going over Styles is in a vacuum. I agree, it's ridiculous. But what if the plan is to push Jericho as
that's why I mentioned it. Right. Yeah. I didn't mean this as like a put down on you, Sean, or anything. I'm just
totally no. I mean, I'm saying that's a good point because I think that may be the end game here. I mean, Jericho's teasing in his Fallout things that he's going to fuck up everything for everybody. So there's a plan. I mean, it wasn't just. I mean, I think there is a little bit of screw the TNA guy I didn't make. Yeah. But I do think that they're going to do something with Jericho now.
What other heel is there? Ryback lost to Kalisto. You have Kevin Owens lost to Zack Ryder, essentially. What other heel is there for Reigns?
Kane?
Right. You got to turn Mark Henry heel or something? It's their heel side is so weak right now. It's really bad.
Man, they missed a huge opportunity for Shaq to get in the ring, walk up to Big Show, and Big Show to be like, what's the problem?
They did.
They really fucking did, dude. Shaq was on this show. Shaquille O'Neal, dude. The daddy.
What did you guys think of that?
It was awesome. Are you serious?
So
it was Shaq in a wrestling ring doing this. And it's the only time the double throat grab works is when it's Shaq Daddy and the Big Show. I don't know. I thought it was really
I was marking out when Shaq was coming down the aisle. I was like, what the fuck is this? Especially because the Battle Royal, to me, was just a jobber Battle Royal. So when Shaq comes out, I'm like, all right, I'm down with that.
I haven't seen him move that fast since 1998. My man's music hit. He came out. He's like, shit's on. I'm ready to go. For you, Big Show. Like he's a kid, and he's like, okay, you're out. Go pro wrestle. I'm going to pro wrestle the shit out of this match. Oh, man. And then for Big Show to be, I'm going to put him over strong. I'm going to look at him like he's a real dangerous opponent. You know what I mean? And then you know who eliminated him? Baron Corbin. That's the story I'm going with, because it was everybody in the ring, and he was one of those guys. You know why Baron Corbin eliminated Shaq? Fucking indie geek, man.
Yeah. Go back to national.
I don't care how big you are. Go back to NBA on TNT, geek.
Or that ROH, NBA, whatever three letters thing you come from.
MBAH.
Yeah. Did you guys catch after Shaq and Big Show were eliminated, they both got up and, the camera's not zoomed in on them at this point, but basically, like, they're palling around. Big Show puts an arm around him and is like, you did good, or whatever. I can't, I'm reading into it. But, like, he's basically saying, like, good job, basically, and they walk away.
Wow.
And then they go backstage and have Shaq build a feud with Big Show.
Right. Yeah, like, wait a minute.
Well, what I'm curious about here is, I mean, I don't know. What I like to think is that this was not planned at all. They just found out Shaq was there,
Right.
and they just decided. That's what I hope. They thought Baron Corbin and DDP were going to be the big ones, or Tatanka, I guess. They didn't even fucking announce it. Just like Michael Cole's like, where did Tatanka come from? And they saw Shaq, and they were like, dude, you want to wrestle? And he was like, yeah, and that was it.
They told Vince saw Tatanka, and he's like, "Who's that?" Vince, that's Tatanka. No shit. You don't look too bad. Let's put you in there. I like it even more to think that Cesaro was planned for that spot, and then Vince saw Shaq, and Shaq was wanting to hang out with Brock for a little bit, and he's like, "Cesaro, go sit down. You take your shirt off." Shaq, you're in, dude. Did you bring anything to wrestle in? You know I can get ready for you, boss.
Now,
Big show. Me and you, one-on-one.
what I'm
That's
intrigued
a good
by,
Shaq impersonation.
what I'm intrigued by is the decision on Tatanka. Now, every wrestler who's ever existed is like in that area for this weekend. So they went with Tatanka over, any other old wrestler you can name. So I wonder, what does Tatanka have, on Vince? Does he have a lockbox?
He might have the lockbox.
No, it was just Tatanka didn't want to go home because he showed up to the Hall of Fame and he's like, I don't have much of a life to go back to, so I'm just going to hang out backstage.
Right.
He was thrown in. DDP was just back there doing some yoga with somebody, and they're like, you go in, you're in too. Shaq was hanging out with Lesnar wearing a cowboy hat for whatever reason.
Dude,
You're in too.
DDP's like 60 years old. This was like the WrestleMania midlife crisis edition, basically.
He's been working with Mick Foley too, so that's why he was there.
DDP looks like he's doing well. Obviously, his yoga, whatever, everything's going well for him.
I mean, there's definitely a read on the whole night. I mean, Corbin is. I mean, that's the thing is. I mean, I made a statement on Twitter about how Mania is about moments and not about stories anymore, and that's obviously a little bit of hyperbole for Twitter because this show. I mean, that is true, but this show was so big and bloated that they did try to be everything for everybody. Because even in this one, which has became this thing where there's a superstar and two old guys and all this other stuff. They used it to put over the NXT guy, which is just weird. I mean, and they gave Zack Ryder the moment. That's the fan favorite that they picked out of the whole. The guy who was a fan favorite 4 years ago is the guy they decided to give that moment to, which I was happy for him, but it's a weird.
Can we talk about that match? Right away, I want to get into one thing with Zack Ryder, the why. On the why did they choose him? So there's two ideas I'm thinking of. One, they're just going to have Corbin come out and just squash him and win. I don't expect Zack Ryder to walk out of Raw with the IC Championship tonight. He's going to lose to someone, whoever it is. I don't know, John Cena, IC Open Challenge for the next 6 months. I don't know. That would be perfect if John Cena buries him again, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, Ryder's I don't think is going to be walking out with the title tonight. But so either they just put on him because they didn't want to squash Owens with some other guy or whatever, or did you see the Snickers commercial they ran with Zack Ryder and Charlotte and whatever? I think maybe they just wanted, because Zack Ryder says woo in his catchphrase and they wanted a woo spot for the Snickers commercial, let's put the title on because Ric Flair refers to him as the champ or whatever. Maybe
he is still the internet champ.
Oh, he is? Okay, I didn't know that was a thing.
I don't
You
know.
say woo really weird, Canaanite.
Oh, woo! Is that better? I don't know.
No. No, Ryder wasn't supposed to win. Kevin Owens was supposed to win, and then Sami Zayn killed him.
Yeah. Is
Kevin
he okay?
No. We don't know. We haven't heard anything from him. Sean actually hit me in the cage out office. He's like, hey, have we heard from Kevin Owens yet today? Checked his Twitters. No, we haven't. He may be in a hospital somewhere in the greater Dallas area, and we need someone go figure that out.
Don't you mean the greater Arlington area, Gino?
Arlington is part of the greater Dallas area. I'm done with this show.
We haven't even talked about Undertaker and Shane McMahon.
We don't plan to either, Kanan. No, we could. I mean, it was a 50-some-year-old man with silver hair and 3 children wearing a baseball jersey came out. And I thought...
And some custom Jordans that most of the people in the world couldn't afford, but he's our babyface.
Yeah, and he's the baby. Like, they're sending it to him. He didn't even have to pay for him, this, what Undertaker call him, rich boy or whatever. And he's the babyface I'm supposed to cheer for. Here's the funny thing that people have brought up on Twitter. The whole story was Shane's like, Raw sucks. I'm going to save the day. And everyone's like, sweet, this is going to be great. Then Undertaker just beat the fuck out of him and walked out.
That match was so bad.
Still sucks. Great.
So
Let's
bad.
watch tonight. Tune on in, Smarka-fucking-Mania. What a stupid show.
I can't believe they played the shit straight up. No interference, no clusterfuck bullshit.
Yeah.
Shane McMahon going toe-to-toe to Undertaker inside Hell in a fucking Cell. Are you kidding me? It looks so bad. It was so
Dude,
bad.
he locked on a triangle at one point.
So bad. And he's like cheering on himself with the other arm or whatever. It was like, what
I'm
is
doing
this?
so good, Henzo.
Right. I was like, what the fuck are you doing?
He's like looking at the camera. Henzo, you see my form? I'm doing really good here. And Cole's like, you're a Gracie-trained jiu-jitsu fighter. Are you shitting me?
Commentary dropped that whole stipulation. This became all about legacy. They didn't mention. They just totally. They didn't sell it. There's
no lockbox.
It was weird.
There's no control of Raw.
Right.
There's no Undertaker may not wrestle at another WrestleMania. They put like a billion stipulations, and then we're let's just forget about those.
I feel like that's the stip they talked about. It became about Taker's legacy was the whole thing.
That's true.
They didn't, but I thought for sure Vince was going to come out, and we all thought this was going to be like, the successor to Sting H, and it wasn't. It was just a couple of old guys in one big crazy spot.
Yeah. It was Hell in a Cell. So the idea, of course, is you don't have that kind of interference.
Right. But Shane decided to use bolt cutters to make sure that anybody could have interfered.
The match itself, the way it was laid out, was kind of, it was done properly, I guess, in the sense of, they did have the MMA thing, and which is fine. Undertaker's for the longest time been known as the best pure striker in the game, which he was exposed.
It did not look like it here.
Yeah,
and he also couldn't put away Shane McMahon with his punches, so.
Right? He needed Shane to kill himself in order to do it. But then they had the couple big spots leading to, of course, the biggest spot. And
out of the cage, it got better once they got out of the cage.
People are funny today because, I'm like, I post the injury update. I'm like, hey, he's fine. WWE's, they're doing the kayfabe, whatever. And people are like, he landed on, the table had air mattresses in it. So it's fake. Wrestling's fine. He's totally okay. Of all the times to call it fake, you're going to go with a dude. I don't care if there was a fucking air mattress under the announce table. You could see it deflating after he landed.
He still landed on a piece of plywood or whatever from 25 feet up.
He jumped from a high-ass place. It was fuck. The people in the arena were chanting, please don't do this.
People around the world were chanting, please don't do this, I think.
I put that on Twitter. You have a fan. Your kids are. Do you want I want my kids to see me wrestle. No, you want your kids to see you die. Like, Daddy's got a lot of money, and I'm about tired of this life of mine. So let's go here. I couldn't get the business in China over. I can't seem to get Vince to give me this company. He's going to give it to Triple H. I'm done with it. Hey, kiddos, let's have a WrestleMania moment. That's funny. I heard they were cheering for Triple H in the main event. Fucking kids don't know anything about kayfabe.
Do you think that's one of the reasons, or this is just a wild guess, but one of the reasons Shane did it was so his kids could see him wrestle? Because I've heard Goldberg always say, "Yeah, I'd love to do one more match so my kids could see me wrestle."
That's what he said on ESPN. The main reason he came back was so that his kids could see him be a superhero.
I see.
Shane's like, really looking forward to my kids seeing me wrestle. Candy night 2 weeks later. You guys think that maybe he did this so his kids could see him wrestle?
I didn't ask him my survey questions.
Right, he wasn't available for the survey.
He didn't want to take the survey. So.
Right.
I thought that interview was weird because he was like, it's the best gift I could ever give my children. I think maybe you could raise them right and give them an education and probably let them inherit $1 billion. Those would all probably be things that are at least as good as seeing you wrestle at WrestleMania.
Or even just like a PlayStation 4 and a trip to McDonald's would be better than watching you jump off and nearly die.
That's how weird the McMahons are, though. I think they believe that's like the greatest gift I can give them is to watch me fight the Undertaker.
Yeah. Well, the greatest gift they gave us is wealthy family drama. Wealthy white family drama is the greatest gift they give us all the time, right? So
that's not true at all. The greatest gift they've ever given us is Stephanie McMahon, being Stephanie McMahon. How great was that entrance? How great was that pre-match promo?
It was something else.
It was. It was really something. I guess. Oh, dude, that's the other hashtag inside Stephanie's dungeon.
Oh boy.
That's what I said. I was like, I'm pretty sure it won because she looked like a dominant.
Have you seen the tweet that's going around the still of after she took the spear, where people are tweeting it's after sex because she's smiling with like her legs
really?
spread? Yeah.
Show me this. Retweet
I
it.
gotta find it. Yeah, hold on.
Find it and retweet it, and I'll go look at it. But that's like at one point I was like, I'm pretty sure I heard her tell Triple H, "Win or you're going to the dungeon." And people were like, "So he's gonna throw the fight then, right?" Because like I would love to go to the dungeon with Stephanie, and it's like, do you realize who this is? He thought that too. Then the lights went out. He's never been the same. That's why Triple H is how he is, ladies and gentlemen, because he slipped her a Mickey back in 1999 and married her in Vegas. And he thought it would be the greatest thing. He thought he was in control. Then she woke up. And it was fucking, you know what it was? It was Don't Be a Menace to South Central while drinking your gin and juice in the hood or whatever. It was Marlon Wayans, and he's like, he found that one chick, and she was like all quiet and soft-spoken, and he's like, yeah, girl, why don't you go ahead and let loose? And she's like, oh, yeah, all right, I'm going to let loose. I'm going to get me some of this. Turn into the fucking devil. That's Stephanie McMahon right there, dude. That's how that happened.
I just put the tweet in the thread if you're there. Somebody else did too. Oh well, me and Kane both did.
Don't expect me to be there.
Oh,
I'm not getting in any threats today. They terrify me.
I know. I'm with you. I'm scared. I'm staying out of them.
Kane tonight, make sure no one's breaking rules. All right.
All right.
Funny thing about the tweet about this picture is that not Stephanie's smiling with her legs spread. Roman looks like Roman looks like he just nutted for sure. And then over Stephanie's shoulder is Triple H's ass sticking up in the air like he's next.
Remember when I said I didn't have it pulled up? Let me change that immediately.
She pegged Roman, and now she's moving on to her husband. That's what this picture is.
That's like when I put that up, someone was like, oh, she totally pegs him. And I'm like, pegs. Oh, that's the best. The word, not the act itself.
Don't knock it till you tried it.
Hey, man, I'm not, whatever. Let me see this fucking photo.
It's pretty epic.
Did you put it on Twitter or just in the thread?
No, I just put it in the thread. I'm not
dealing with this.
I'm not giving Twitter an, all right, I'll retweet it. Hold on.
Yeah, let me see this photo. This is great radio, by the way.
I know. Well, I'm trying to encourage people to go to Cage Side Seats and give us hits, and you're like, I'm not going to that fucking site. Why would I go there? I just retweeted it, but didn't you turn retweets off?
I don't turn your retweets off.
Oh, well, I just retweeted it.
You're the only person I don't have retweets turned off for. After sex, oh my God. You're right. Stephanie, cleavage is showing. She's like smiling as though she just had the best sex of her life. Yep. Reigns is like either in the middle of
did I lie to you?
And Triple H's ass is he just got pegged. He's up there.
I think he's next. I think he's waiting his turn. Right.
He's over there. He's got his ass up. He's like, my turn.
I'm ready, honey.
I'm ready.
And there's that creepy guy with the camera. That creepy guy with the camera back there filming it.
Well, the other joke.
Multiple cameras. Dudes have cameras everywhere. Like, this is fucking great.
It's live. You can see right there. It's a live sex show. They took Edge's gimmick.
This is the greatest fucking photo I've ever seen in my life. Triple H's ass is in the air. Holy shit. Yep. Reigns, I'm glad he's champ with this facial expression right here. Look at that man.
He earned it.
This is just, I'm retweeting that too. Great radio again.
Again, yeah. Well, and way to send everybody to Twitter. Hashtag engagement.
Hashtag engagement content. Blah blah. What else do we got to talk about?
So I think we want to talk about Brie and Nikki. That's also lost in the whole fucking thing. I mean,
you know what we haven't even mentioned? We haven't talked about the women's match or the new women's title.
True. It's over.
The new women's title looks awesome.
I mentioned it before when I said that's why I was going to watch Raw, but yeah.
I don't listen to you.
I know you don't. I know that. You don't read. That's why I'm still blown away that you liked my takeover review, because I think that's the first time you've read anything I've written in the 4 years I've worked for the site.
That's what I was hoping someone would pick up on. There, I think that's your best work. It's like, Gino, it's the only thing you've ever read that he's written. But therefore, it must be his best work in your opinion. No, so the belt looks fucking great, doesn't it? It's like a really. I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna buy it and give it to my girlfriend.
I hope they have side plates for it. You think they're gonna have? I don't know. I don't think there's room.
Oh, that's a good question.
I don't see it on there.
Would Charlotte's side plates just be a picture of her crusty ass old man?
I think so. I mean, that's her gimmick. So.
Wait, before we get into this match, I have one little nitpick here.
Oh, jeez.
On the pre-show, Lita...
We're finally having fun, Kane. Can you fucking not do that?
I think this is on the pre-show when Lita was making the announcement. She said something like they would be crowned the first ever women's champion.
Right. Yeah, she did say that. Lita is not, for a Hall of Famer who has a job talking about wrestling, she's not the best talker of wrestling.
I interpreted that as her that was the script they gave her. That was from them, in other words. But you're trying to say maybe...
She's not the sharpest tool in the shed.
Well, look, I'm not putting it past them to come out on Raw tonight and say, Charlotte, you're the first ever women's champion. That might be from WWE. I don't know.
Well, what I'm confused about is on the Today Show, the woman who hosts that, Tamron Hall, I think her name is, called it the WWE Women's World Championship.
Okay.
Oh, we're doing this shit again.
Okay.
I don't know. So maybe maybe it is the first Women's World Champion.
Right. Okay.
I don't know.
Right.
We're doing this again where we're not sure if it's WWE World Heavyweight title or WWE title or WWE Heavyweight title. And then they voted one thing, remember that? And then they just changed it. Yep. Everyone voted for something, and they were like, no, the majority vote will win, and then one thing won, and they're like, actually, no. We're going to go with what we want.
It's like Roman Reigns all over again. Oh, never mind.
It's the submission sorority is what it is.
It's a really nice belt, though. I like it a lot.
It is.
I think it looks... the white leather, I'm just a big mark for the white leather stuff. I think that's good. I wonder if it means...
I took you more for... yeah.
Noted, okay.
Noted, yes. Dress like Stephanie, act like Stephanie, white leather. No, yeah, do you think they'll change?
Somebody just tweeted that they do have screw-on side plates there ready, so that's pretty slick. I like the WWE logo with the globe behind it too. With that, it might be the women's world title because they definitely have a world theme going.
Oh, yeah. All right. That's not a bad thing though.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's not bad.
See, I told you my voice doesn't only get high when I'm upset. Sometimes it gets high when I'm excited.
You're right. What did you think of the match?
I loved it.
I did too. Awesome.
See you, everybody.
Kane, what did you think? If you have a bad thing to say, we're cutting you
fired.
It was probably the best match on the show. That or the ladder match. I don't know. It was one of the two best matches on the show.
Goodbye, everybody.
I will say it sucks to me that the Flair thing. Like, where'd Snoop go? You had one job, Snoop.
Yep.
What the fuck's the matter with you?
He needs to turn in his Hall of Fame ring, I think.
Yeah, he's like, well, I'm done. I did my part. The entrance is
I came out here with this broad that can't even sing.
Yeah.
So, what was that?
I know. That poor woman.
Holy shit.
That poor woman was not allowed to go to sound check, apparently. That was bad.
You rehearse this.
Whoa.
There was another. They're like, they just saw someone. She was like singing to herself, and they're like, "Hey, you're not bad. Go out there."
She was wearing a warm up. They're like, "Oh, that kind of fits with Snoop's pajamas he's wearing. So go."
They said her name. I still don't know who it was.
It's something Phoenix, Raven Phoenix or something. Raven I don't know. I asked Bill if it was if she was a thing that I should know of because Bill's tied into all the kids' pop culture stuff.
Yeah, there's like Sixth Harmony was gonna play, and Bill's like,
"It's like, oh, there's a heel."
We're like, who the hell's that? And Bill's like, oh, they're multi-platinum recording artists.
So I asked him, and he was like, sure, that's a thing. But he doesn't know, so I don't know who she is. She's probably on Snoop's label. But
that's totally Antstock's thing. Like, the NXT stuff. Like, 3.0 wrestled at NXT. Like, who the fuck's 3.0? Are you serious?
They're only the Chikara Championes de Paredes.
Chikara Tag Team Champions, guys. Come on. Oh, my God. Fucking Handstock.
Who's now interviewing Hall of Famers and shit while we're sitting here jerking off on the internet. So That's why we make fun of Bill. Because we're
That's why
jealous.
we make fun of Bill. He's currently.
We're totally jealous.
He's talking to a WWE Hall of Famer right now, and we're talking to fucking Canaanite. Like,
Hey, I think you guys have a
About
better end of the
pegging.
deal.
maybe it's because we talk about pegging. I bet Rudo Radio doesn't have segments on pegging. I bet
what
that's
are the
why.
And Sock's like, what do you want me to ask him? We're like, why don't you ask him about pegging? So, oh my god.
Does the Kiss My Ass Club include a strap-on?
Oh my god. This is our Peen Watch segment, everybody. Wanted.
Fake. We also watch for fake peen in
Yes.
Peen Watch.
Yes.
Hashtag Peen Watch.
Hashtag.
So the women, by the
What
way,
else?
the
Oh
women-
yeah, and we're supposed to be talking about the fucking women's wrestling revolution.
Wait,
and we're
wait,
doing
How
this.
bad is this? Where we're like, oh yeah, the women are finally getting to be known as superstars, and we're like, so wait, let's talk about pegging.
It is a female empowerment thing.
I need to talk about Stephanie, maybe fucking Triple H in his ass. Like,
Now, here's a number for you. I'll bring boring numbers into this. The women actually received, if you count the time they received as, like, including their entrances and the post-match shit, they received the third most time on the show outside of Shane and Undertaker got over 50 minutes altogether.
holy shit.
Roman Reigns and Triple H got around 44 minutes, and the women got around just under 30 minutes. They were the third most.
Now that's for everything?
Right, that's not the match time. That's the entrances and the whole deal. Yeah,
Do
everything.
you already have the match times and stuff done?
I have a preliminary. I don't have like the. I have some.
He's not ready to go to press yet, you know.
Right. I got some preliminary numbers.
Canaanite's running scientific operation over there. He's not just gonna throw some shit on the internet.
So here, right. But here, so here's a number. Here's another number for you. So
That was the best thing you've ever said, John.
so they got more time than The Rock as well. So The Rock was the fourth longest. The Rock segment was the fourth longest thing.
You can smell what the boss is cooking, right?
Oh my god. He's not ready to go to press yet. Oh man. Okay.
That's a lot
Anyway.
of time, and I did want to.
Gulp.
So was this the longest WrestleMania ever? Do you know that, Canaanite?
Ooh, I don't know off the top of my head. I'll look.
But
It's
into
got to
it.
be. It's got to be top 5, though, right? I mean,
The
what
Right,
network
there's
like,
only been
re-air?
there have only been a few over 4 hours. So yeah,
this was
certainly
like
in the top
440,
five.
wasn't it?
It was like 451 or something. Yeah.
Oh God!
The
My guess is that
network
it was so long. It was, and that's yeah.
like Jack Black on that Tenacious D CD. Take forever with you.
It was so long.
Oh my god. It's like I think the network re-air because I went and looked I was doing something and it was like 4 hours and 51 minutes. But that's probably condensed down, right? I don't know if that. Because did they start with Fifth Harmony and then they went into Kalisto?
No, Fifth Harmony kicked off the broadcast, so the pre-show stuff was later, and then the signal that we were done with pre-show and going into the main show was Fifth Harmony.
Right.
Yeah, because that's what the network re-air opens with.
Yeah.
So maybe
including
pre-show stuff.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
that's
I'm not
7
even.
hours.
Yeah, I mean.
Oh, right,
yeah,
I'm not counting
including-
pre-show,
No,
yeah.
me neither. I wasn't either. Because
Just the
that's
main
ridiculous.
show was almost 5 fucking
Yeah.
hours.
Yep.
Oh my god. What am I doing with my life?
I'm pretty sure that I have like blood clots in my legs from that. Because you're supposed to move every once in a while. The only time I moved was to get up and like go get a pizza from the delivery guy.
Right?
I think I have some sort of a jungle rot situation from just like sweating and pissing on myself.
Is
and
that's why the peen was, you were checking out the peen?
I'm not sure. There's something growing out of the side of the peen that I need to have checked out.
How have we not been yanked off the air yet? Like, how has no one from SB Nation been like, you guys are done. You are done.
Because we only make fun of ourselves, I guess, maybe.
It's true.
Well, it's because nobody watches this.
It's because they also like to talk about pegging.
Well, that's why we're very Peen Watch is going to really sweep the nation.
You know what? I'm starting to love Sasha Banks because she just periodically tweets, gulp. Like, Like I don't know what the idea. She's
Like a Scooby and Shaggy gulp, like that kind of gulp, like
in all caps, the word gulp.
Nice.
And every time I see it, that's what I do. I read it like exactly. I can't just read it gulp. I just gulp.
We have just spent a lot of time putting over Twitter on this show.
Yeah.
So were we upset about Rick interference? I mean, I was upset, and then on retrospect, I think I got worked. I mean, I think.
Yeah, you're supposed to be mad, but like at the same time, I'm kind of tired of it because, especially like the Mania stuff. I said now Sasha falls into the same spot Becky's in, where it's like you know better. You have to know better. Everyone looks stupid.
They have to pay it off soon. I mean, he's got to get his. The both of them have
really. Yeah, someone really needs to like.
They've got to get their comeuppance soon.
Rip his intestines out of his house. And just like I really.
Becky fucked his shit up last night, though. She did. She went at him, but he came back because he's Nate.
Yeah, like one dive that barely hit. I'm talking like rip his neck open and shit down his throat. Like I really want bad things to happen to Ric Flair at this point.
Sounds like a job for Rusev from like a year ago. I think Rusev did a nice job of that.
Well, Lana is an active competitor now. She wore some sort of a 1950s bathing costume to the ring.
That's what I said.
She is ready to. Maybe she's the next contender, and then Rusev can kill Rick.
I was asking my girlfriend about that. I'm like, why was she wearing a one-piece bathing? She was like, actually, it's really sexy lingerie. It's like a corset. So I'm like, okay. I thought it was a fucking bathing suit.
Did you guys hear?
Like all the way out.
Did you hear Mauro Ranallo call her call Eva Marie the ravishing redhead? I think, or he mixed up the names a little bit. He used the word ravishing to talk about Eva Marie, and then whoever his partner was like shit on him for it. So then he changed it back. That was a big dramatic moment on the commentary team in that match.
I was not impressed with Mauro's Mania debut. I hope he was just a little nervous, but he did the little like the Kanye thing about throwing shade was just don't talk. Like, don't stop using words you don't know what they mean.
He's very good at.
He didn't get one of the matches that he should have been calling. He got the WrestleMania spectacle bullshit, and he should have been calling something else. So.
What did you guys think of, speaking of the pre-show, the Ryback Kalisto? There was like no one, it was so early and people were having trouble getting in the building, like no one was there basically. How do you think that makes the performers feel? Because Kalisto's coming out doing his lucha thing, it's like no one's there. I thought that was very interesting, the atmosphere for that.
It didn't stop Ryback from screaming a lot of stuff. So.
Yeah, there were 8 people doing the lucha chant. Bill Handstock was one of them.
It's lit, fam!
He was in the building. He was like, Lucha, better tweet this. It's lit, fam. Manny is here, Mortal Kombat style. Yeah. Well, the only other match I think that we didn't talk about was the Usos versus the Dudleys. And, boy, they told a story.
Mm-hmm.
Just no one did.
And they put the young guys over, which is one of the only places on the card where it happened, I guess. This in the main. Samoans went over big last night.
Well, and Corbin.
Tough guys.
Samoan. Yeah, Samoan tough guys. Those tough guys.
What spot would you rather be in if you're a performer? Would you rather be in the Jobber Battle Royal on the main card, but you're a jobber, you don't win it, or would you rather be in the
It's not a Jobber Battle Royal, Kane. Shaq was in it.
All right, would you rather be Adam Rose in the
I have
Battle
one
Royal?
word for you, Kane. Bang!
If I would rather be whatever match Shaq is in, I want to be in that.
Okay, because here's where I'm going with this. The Usos have never wrestled on the main card of WrestleMania.
Really?
You're the only person who's upset about this.
I'm not upset. I'm just a factoid.
That's surprising to me.
No, remember because they did those a fatal 4-way tag title match like 2 years ago.
Haven't the Usos been around for like 27 years now? Or does it just feel like that?
They're right on Finkel's heels for the most WrestleManias.
I feel like they've been here forever. So.
And even
I
last
think they were
year
here before Rikishi, which I'm not sure how that works. I think it's some sort of like X-Men time travel thing, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
The Usos had 2 matches on the pre-show last year. They were in the tag match and they were in the Jobber Battle Royal. So they're experts of the pre-show.
Stop calling it the Jobber Battle Royal.
Well, last year it was the Jobber Battle. Last year it was the Jobber Battle Royal because Shaq wasn't in it.
This year it's the Dre.
Yes, we'll give Handstock credit for that one. That's awesome. You got to start calling it the Dre.
The Dre, I like that. Yeah, or the Andre, but the Dre is really good.
The Dre is cool. You got to go with the Dre.
I think that's literally all the matches. We're not missing anything. We didn't really talk about Styles and Jericho, but I don't really feel like we need to.
Well, we touched on it a little bit. I mean, it is what I thought it was an okay match. The decision is weird, but I think you do have to wait and see what the story is. And the moral of the story is you don't. I mean, as Sting has taught us, you don't want to be the guy that comes into this company after having worked elsewhere for most of the time. Because
Just wait to see what they do to Nakamura, huh?
Better to be Braun Strowman than it is to be AJ Styles.
Apparently, yes.
Hey,
And
I'm
I
happy.
think it's
The Braun Strowman shit is done with, it looks like. I'm thrilled about that.
Yeah. Baron Corbin's taking his spot.
you're thrilled about that, huh, Kane?
I sure am.
Sean, send him out. You know what to do.
What did Rock say about him? He looks like he's been breastfed. He breastfed until he was 26. That's funny. That's comedy gold.
He's been breastfed. I furiously went to the Wikipedia, and I'm like, I hope he's not even 26 yet.
I thought about that too.
I hope he's only 25.
Gino's over there fact checking the Rock's problem. You're not in Dallas. That's mark that down.
Yep. He's like, finally, I've come back to Dallas. You're in Arlington, dipshit. And I put that on Twitter, and it got over just about as big as anything else did.
All right, but I am going to go back and find the rant you went on about how it's in the Cowboy Stadium and the rest of the world calls it Dallas, so I'm not going to call it Arlington, so fuck off.
That was emotional response. I was wrong. I corrected the behavior. You don't get to use that against me, damn it.
Here's a follow-up Braun Strowman, because I love talking about Braun Strowman, apparently.
So does Gino. You guys can I'll just
right.
go take
Okay,
a nap.
considering what we saw with Undertaker and Shane McMahon, would you have preferred the unknown of Undertaker versus Braun Strowman instead?
Yes.
Yes.
Thanks, Kane. Anyway.
I still can't get over the fact that not only will we never learn about the lockbox, but that nothing matters. It's like it's a fucking that was the nihilist match. Like nothing matters.
Do you think that red toolbox was the lockbox at that point?
Well, if it was, it's the contents are spilled all over Arlington, Texas now.
The locked box was actually just Byron Saxton's lunchbox.
Did it have
Shane
Roman's
used
blood
it.
capsules in it?
Shane used it to give Take a black eye.
Are you surprised we didn't get to see Cesaro?
No.
Are you surprised we didn't get to see Goldberg?
That one's pretty funny. He tweeted, he was fucking with people. He was like, they're like, can't wait to see him next year. I hope he's ready. And he's like, I'm always ready. Like, for what?
To respond to you on Twitter.
I'm always ready to tweet with you.
You're next.
I'm
to
always
be tweeted with.
Yeah, I'm always ready to slide into your DMs.
I'm replying to your tweet next.
You should have went out with that.
I know. I wasn't ready.
I think we don't have anything else. Do we? Is that really all the matches? I think that's all the matches.
We're 11. Were you surprised we didn't see Conor McGregor?
Conor McGregor.